Hey everyone, welcome to Tellor Dev Call. Last one in November. So happy Thanksgiving. If we didn't talk to you guys. Yeah, Christmas season is upon us. So to kick off, I'll just tell you guys, I guess, what I'm doing. It was super fun. We got a bunch of data spec requests to this weekend. So one was for ohm backing. It's just, I don't know actually what that means, and I'm going to try and flesh that out from him. I'm guessing it has to do with just how collateralized the system is or something. We'll try and figure out in the data specs what that actually is, and then we'll push it for him. The other one, as we were talking about, what was it? Alliance blockchain or ALBT was the symbol. So we already put it on Mumbai for him. We're going to talk. It seems like we don't know what they need it for, but it's exciting and we can do it. So oh, and I guess I'll just let you guys know. I'll talk to him and find out when he needs it for mainnet and
how often
things like that. I saw in their code they have an hour delay for reading it, so I'm guessing it doesn't need to be updated that frequently.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so it's it should be a nice simple one, and that's cool. Other things, yeah. So today I have at 11, I'm doing a deep dive. So you guys can watch the Streamr network. So this was, if you remember, there was, I forget, one project. Who was it that posted data to the Streamr network? What Oracle was that? I don't even remember. Sorry if you're watching this and I forgot your Oracle project and how it works. But Streamr network is like a layer 0 protocol. So like it's a peer-to-peer network. And they could like, you know, they have like data storage and stuff that's like kind of in their own separate blockchain, but really, really fast. I'm not a huge expert on layer 0 protocols. You could say like Flashbots is a layer 0 protocol. They like pass messages before it gets sent to its Ethereum. But I'm excited to learn about it and we'll see how that goes. Yeah, so I'm kind of trying to prepare for that. And then we're also working on a design proposal for Polkadot. See if we can go over there. That one's super exciting. Just because I can sort of play around with Tellor design a lot. And then, yeah, and then there were some issues this weekend too. So what was, we had an issue with BCT, or was that not an issue?
One of my Tellor reporters submitted a price of 1 penny for BCT.
And we don't know why.
And I don't know why. I did it again about an hour later. When I got back to my computer, I told it to submit query type BTT USD, and it submitted the correct price, which is like $1.
This was on the testnet, right?
It was all on Mumbai. Yeah.
And then, do we know why?
No.
Do we have multiple APIs for BCT?
We do. CoinGecko and Nomics.
Okay, so it wasn't like an API going crazy issue, or?
I mean, it could have been an API. I
mean, they all just went, yeah.
It could have been temporary API hiccup, I guess, but
yeah.
The good news is I found out about it. I was out to eat with my wife at the time, and I got a text from the disputable values monitor. So our monitoring works.
Monitoring works. So it was a good thing that the monitor works, but it's a bad thing we don't know what the hell happened. Yeah. I guess we'll just keep an eye on it. We can assume it was maybe an API error, or somebody threw the price, but unless it happens again. But yeah, be sure to keep an eye on it.
But that price feed wasn't used by anybody for a mainnet contract of any kind, so it's fine.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna look into today the wrapped BTC. Apparently there was an issue there with the Chainlink feeds. There was like a depeg on a few of the exchanges, but Chainlink didn't pick up on it. So I'll see if I can find us some good tweet material there. Yeah, Daniela from OVIX was telling me about that one. He was complaining. So shout out to Daniela. The other thing too, like, did you guys see the curve attack last week? Somebody was basically they were attacking the curve system, and it led to Aave having some bad debt, I think.
Oh, yeah.
But I think I'm gonna look into that, Tim. Maybe you can too. Because I think like that toxicity thing that we're working on with OVIX would have prevented that.
I think so. Yeah.
I think that was the whole reason that we're doing it. And so OVIX is like, man, they're like way ahead of the game preparing. So like we could potentially like go into OVIX and then we can like go sell this solution to, we should tell them to patent it, sell it to Aave. You can be cool. But yeah, so it's sort of cutting edge and we're like right there, which is super cool and exciting. All right. Akram, you're up next.
Just trying to wrap up adding all the functions on the packed contract. I'm gonna start doing the checklist and go over the test one by one. Yeah, I don't know if we're meeting with those guys today or this week at all.
Did they message us back? I don't think so.
No, they didn't. Not all.
Yeah, I'll ping them. It's the holiday, so.
Yep, I guess that's it. That's all I'm working on. Is the packed.
Oh, this weekend they're down in Miami. A lot of people are going down to Miami for blockchain something. Cadena has an event though, so I don't think we'll be making it. But yeah, so it might be slow this week, but it's fine. Anyway, Tim.
Yeah, I'm working on the using Tellor packed contract. So for those listening, Akram is leading the packed Tellor development, and I'm kind of coming in as a second set of eyes. So my first task is building out a using Tellor as a simple contract to be used over there. So yeah, that's my focus today.
Cool. Yeah, and then and thanks for doing the artifacts to the using Tellor release. So by the way, if you were using Tellor in the past, so I know we had recently made an upgrade to using Tellor, and this was with the whole 360 thing, but it went live last week. It actually is a breaking change. So before we would return 3 values, we did get the actual value and then the timestamp, and basically did get was no longer necessary. It would always return true because it would fail out if it was ever false. So we did what actually would make sense and removed the did get, so the Boolean that said if it returned properly. The problem with that though, so if you were using it and you like delete your node modules and reinstall, it'll give you a newer version of using Tellor that you'll just have to remove a variable from your smart contracts. It's not a big deal, but if you do notice that, that's what's happening. So
or they were using did get as a way to check whether or not there was a value, which
you no longer need to.
Yeah. So if you really want to check if there's a value, you can check whether the timestamp is 0 or not, if you need that.
Yeah. So, all right. And Ryan.
Yeah, just trying to troubleshoot something with Zero. Apparently the gas estimator isn't working on ETH mainnet. It's working on Polygon. So I don't know if you guys have any suggestions, but just trying to see if there's something we can go around through that.
It's not working on what network?
On ETH mainnet.
Huh. I mean, you could use an external API. Is that what you use, or?
Yeah, well, that's what he's currently using, but it's not working for ETH mainnet. It's working for Polygon, but there's some more complex stuff that he's gonna.
Is it the gas estimate for the gas price or the amount of gas?
Good question.
So like if it's if it's the amount of gas, then you can usually just hard code that in because you're probably running the same per function. But if it's the gas price, that's a little bit more tough. You could just add a note that says like, hey, this gas estimator might be wrong. click normal on MetaMask. It might be better. Or you could just like have it go auto and then MetaMask should pick one up, which might help too. So just like remove the whole gas estimator and let let
Hmm.
MetaMask deal with it. If they're not using MetaMask or they're using something else, they'll have to manually enter one. But I think most people use MetaMask, so I don't know.
Cool. Thank you. And then also gonna focus on just buttoning up the sample using Tellor video. It's also helped us kind of with the docs. The Polygon docs are now up to date. And I want to update the ethereum.org documentation as well. But then outside of that, then I'm just going to go back to the voting module, see how I can try to just make it generic for disputes.
Cool. And then do we link to any of these videos in our docs or?
Definitely.
Okay. Cool.
Definitely see that up as well.
Owen.
Hey, yeah, so I just double checked all of our gas price sources, and then merged the profit fix. There's a couple other bugs that I want to take care of this week, and then I think they're they're not as serious ones, but they're there. And then I think we should do another release after that, just because we've had a bunch of changes and whatnot and fixes after our latest one. And yeah, in terms of features, I guess the next thing is just doing the alerts for the reporter. And that would just be to basically let people know that their account's running low and that their report is gonna not work soon.
Cool. And then you'll fix the Twitter bot.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. No, it sounds good. Tally?
Yeah, I finally added the overview to the monitor readme, and I repaired the graphs to match the 350 update. So if you go to the monitor, the graphs display now. So when
Always good.
yeah. And then the left part of the monitor, which is the sidebar, which has the data about time since last values on certain query IDs, I have to fix today.
Cool.
Yeah. And I also updated the GitHub actions of the monitor, so it should now auto update again.
And the API, you're gonna work on that at some point,
I think
or it should be good.
the API is good now.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. If you have any documentation on that too, I think we should send it out in the dev channel or something. So
Yeah.
yeah, just write something quick and get other people to know it's there, because not many people know about it.
You mean on the team or
On the the whole Tellor
The
community,
ecosystem.
the
Okay.
ego, yeah.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Tell people about the API, tell them that it exists, and
Okay.
because a lot of people ask where can I find the last timestamp for, this query ID, and
Oh yeah, I can
that
help
would
with that.
that would be yeah, that's
Yeah.
we can find that really
I need
easily.
that,
You need
so
that?
I'll find that.
Yeah,
Talk to this guy.
and Tally's wearing a turtleneck. It's
Yeah.
turtleneck season.
It's a
yeah.
half turtleneck.
Oh.
Hit it right.
Turtle and a
Yeah.
half neck.
It's a shy turtle.
Sky turtle, yeah.
Spotty, anything for you?
Just gonna try to resync my node.
Cool.
I thought I could keep the beacon chain and then just tell Geth to resync, but it didn't work. So I gotta resync the beacon chain and the
Cool. All right, Brenda, you need anything? Or talk to you at 1?
Yep.
All right,
Talk to
cool
you.
guys. Questions? Any questions?
Yes.
Cool.
We got some in the deep questions channel in Discord, which I briefly closed out of because of the annoying notifications. But give me 1 second here.
Okay.
So We got one from Chewy. He was thinking, is there any way we could provide faster data by letting projects that want fast finalized data just use the value reported instantly, as it is almost certainly correct unless there is some glitch, like with what happened with Luna, with the caveat that if some situation like that does happen, that they can either reverse the trade or play with the true number. When the customer already has funds locked in the project, this would just act as an automated security blanket in case data was incorrectly reported for the project in a way that other oracles don't provide.
Yeah, so I can do this one. You can use Tellor as fast as you want, so you can use it instantly if you would like. The problem is that security comes from being able to dispute it. So if somebody can, for instance, submit a bad price to attack your system, and then in the same block go and do something, there's no checks on that, obviously, because nobody can dispute it. You're all within the same block. So what you would need to do is build in some sort of mechanism. And we've talked about this, like if those actions that can be performed intra-block or within a few blocks, if the people that can do that have a really large stake or are only admins in your system, it's cool. Use it as fast as you want. You could assume that it's finalized, as long as, for instance, like, some rando person couldn't come in, update the Tellor price, and then break your system right away. That's where it's bad. So yeah, you could definitely add in your own controls to make it faster. We had talked about other people about this, like they wanted really large things, really almost ridiculously large stakes for the Tellor system because they didn't think it provided enough security. And what you could do is or they wanted like people to stake their token to provide some sort of utility to their token. And you could do that. So you could say like the reporter that reported this price has to be staked at Tellor and submit via Tellor, but they also have to be staked on our system. Or the person that, calls update price on our system has to be, go stake $20 million worth of our token. And then yeah, it can be as fast as you want it to be. So hope that answers it. Cool. Anything else?
This could be an interesting mental exercise, but there was a thought about from Mayumos, what about supermarket price oracles of groceries in different cities? Prices of potatoes in different cities, creating arbitrage opportunities for people, record all prices of the world to create a free market with robust data.
That sounds like a killer DeFi project.
No.
I don't like, we're an Oracle project, so we could absolutely put that data on chain, but to build out something like that is
Well, I mean, I want to build out something like that eventually. Like, I think it would be, so there's a few issues. The arbitrage opportunity is ridiculous. Like the arbitrage opportunity exists. Like if potatoes in Tennessee are $1 and potatoes here are $2, theoretically you could load up a truck of potatoes in Tennessee and drive it up here and sell it. The only way arbitrage works is on digital goods, not supermarket goods, because the problem is like there's a cost to loading it on a truck and driving it up here. That's why arbitrage opportunities exist. But I think the idea of like, people have talked about like, how do you do pricing outside of the US dollar? So like, right now we just peg everything like the ETH US dollar price. But what ideally you would want to do is peg it to a basket of goods. So like you would have like an ETH, CPI price or something like that. So you would have this, how much, how many, like you would basically take a sample over the whole world. And this goes back, Brenda can probably talk about this more. She was on the PPI or CPI index, so to calculate inflation. But basically the way that they do it in the US is like, we actually have people going to grocery stores and like they write down the prices and you add them. It's a survey. You add them all up and you get prices and how much it increased on various places all across the US. And theoretically, you could do that over the whole world. You would just price it in ETH or whatever the base currency is. And then you would go and you would have people submit the price of, you know, potatoes in Mumbai, potatoes in Beijing, potatoes in Russia, and then you would have a global price of potatoes, and then you sample it. The problem is that's a whole lot of data. So like, how do you pay people to submit it, have people check it, have people, you know, incentivize?
To be robust enough, it's I think it's too big to fit on any blockchain. To be robust.
Well, I think you could do some fun things.
I mean, we already do sampling for most of the things that you do in the US. It's not that you're using all of the data, and it's still too much. And then when you want to talk about global,
well, I think you could do something global on a smaller scale to start. Like until a lot of people requested the number, you could do, like, I'm sure you've heard, like the Big Mac index. Like we could probably put Big Mac prices from all over the world on chain. Like you just have, like, you know, an array of Big Mac prices that, you know, you can probably look that up online somewhere and throw it on chain, and then you could have a Big Mac index on chain. The Big Mac index, guys, it's just people like, it's actually a great proxy for inflation because it has all those different food elements in it. So what's the price of a Big Mac in various parts of the world, and you can see. So we could do that, and I think that would be a fun one to start doing. So yeah, some fun ideas. Yeah, but eventually we'll do everything in the world, and you can start with like the Big Mac, and then we can add things and housing prices or other things. But inflation's tough. So
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. All right, fun call. Guys, we shall talk to you next week. All right, see you, everyone.
Guys. Okay.